Hello everyone, my name is Nur Izzati and my matrix number is 212115. My partner is...
My name is Lpe Al-Hadi bin Ahmad Amri. My matrix number is 210072.
So today we will discuss types of services in restaurant industry. But first, I would like you guys to share a little bit about your worst experience at a restaurant. You can speak or you can comment on the chat box. While waiting, I think Lutfi can share a story about his worst experience at a restaurant with us.
Okay, let me share my experience first about the fine dining restaurant. I once upon a time I visit some restaurant in hotel restaurant in Kuala Lumpur, and while waiting my food to be delivered, something was happened, which is the waiter crack the waiter is fall down and crack the plates, and the plates are smashing to the to the entire our area table. So that is my worst experience, which is very, very annoying. So anyone can tell us, or doctor, can you tell?
Okay, thank you, Luffy. Okay, seems like no one else is gonna share their story. There are many types of services. We are focusing on French and Russian services. Luffy will explain to us about Russian service. You can continue.
Okay, for the service in many aspects. So as we all know, Izzati will continue with the fan service. So the food is cooked tableside like cut pan service, and except servers put the service on the platters and then pass at the tableside. So guests help themselves to the foods and assemble their own plate. So it's very formal and elegant, and the guests given considerable personal attention. As we all know, each table have the portion of soup with a ladle into the soup bowls. Likewise, the server present the food to the guest. So the server takes into a side station and portion the food in full view of the guest. So the server decide the portion serve them or sit to the serve them. And then the last point of the Russian service that I will present to you is use of heavy serviceware, table setting identical to fan setup. So there are many, as we all know, there are many serviceware in the Russian service that I will explain to you further. So the Russian service cover, there are BB plate and butter spreader. The BB plate is a plate used to put bread and butter. This plate is also called a quarter plate or side plate because it is usually placed next to the fork. So the next is show plate. So the service plate will catch the show plate is also known as service plate. So the service plate will catch errant spills, drips, or food particle that have been dropped during the early courses. So the napkin, as we all know, the napkin used for protecting our clothes, and the dinner fork and knife, soup spoon, dessert fork, spoon, and water or wine glass. So we can see here, we have image, picture, the napkin, and the arrangement of service style. So the advantage of the Russian service is there are only one serve is needed. As we all know that compared to the French service, the Russian service only one server is needed. So a service requires only one server, and thus these are less labor intensive and considered as a faster service. Russian service is faster than French service. So the Russian service does not necessity any extra space for special equipment as Guridon. As you can see at the slide, Guridon, I place on the slide. So a Guridon is normally a movable table or trolley from which food may be served. So the Guridon service usually indicates that food is served onto the guest plate at the Guridon. However, It also service drinks, trolley, cheese trolley, carving trolley, and so on. So the second advantage is service as elegant as French, yet faster and less expensive. As I mentioned earlier, the Russian service is faster than the French service. Why? I will pass to the Izati next. So the third one, the last advantage is no extra space needed for special equipment such as Guridom. And the last one is disadvantage. So the disadvantage is a large investment in silver serviceware and the number of platter needed, especially when guests in a party orders a different selection. So we have in the Russian service, we have water goblet, campaign flute, red wine glass, white wine glass, cordial sherry glass, dinner knife, fish knife, salad knife, spoon, oyster fork, salad fork, fish fork, and dinner fork. So there are many type of silver service. And the Russian service is useful at banquet because the type of the service is very complicated, and thus the Russian service suitable for banquets. So the last disadvantage is the last guest served at the table must be served from the less well and displayed food remaining. So we all know that each type of guest have one server. So when the restaurant not have much or not be able to find the workers, so there are less workers. So when the customer are too many in one restaurant, there are less labor, and the time consuming is very long. So, and the last point is displayed food remaining. As we all know, each guest or each packs have certain guridon or certain side table. So when the last guest have to have to waiting, so they can see the food remaining in the side table. So there are disadvantage of the Russian service. So the next part is Russian service types. So all can see on the slide that server place a heated plate, and the second one, the server bring the platters of food, and the third one standing to the left, and the fourth one, the server continues serving counterclockwise, and the last one, finger bowls and napkin are served. So I will pass to next presenter, which is Izat.
Okay, thank you, Lutfi. So now I will continue to explain more about French service. Okay, next slide. First of all, French service is quite similar to Russian service. French service is fine dining that is usually served in an elegant and expensive restaurant. The food is cooked and half prepared in the kitchen, but complete in front of the guests. Wow, isn't it? If you guys are wondering how they kept the food warm, well, they use equipment called richard to ensure the food stays hot or warm. And please don't be confused. The waiter will complete the food on the gueridon. They do not cook at the guest table, okay? Okay, we move on to the next slide. Okay, the first picture shows you exactly how the waiter cooks beside the guest table. Second picture shows Richard. Actually, in Malaysia, we do use Richard. When you go to a wedding ceremony, they will put the food inside an iron gray container. Yes, that is also a Richard. Last picture shows you an example of gueridon. It is used to complete or plating food in front of guests. Okay, next. We have utensils used, which are goblet, red wine glass, white wine glass, presentation plate, dinner plate, BB plate, soup plate, dessert spoon, cheese knife. Next, we have fish knife, fish fork, stick knife, soup spoon, and stick fork. All right. Okay, so this slide shows you a complete set for one covers. Can you move to the next slide? Okay, this slide shows you a complete set for one covers. Amazing, right? For one person, you get a lot of utensils. Now we're going to see the advantages and the disadvantages. Next slide. Okay, the advantages of French service are the guests receive a great deal of attention. Well, of course, because there were waiters cooking in front of them, so they felt like they have the attention. Second, the atmosphere is gracious and leisurely. If you eat in a French restaurant, the only noise you can hear is the waiter cook food for you. You will not hear a loud noise like in Mama restaurant. Therefore, you will feel calm when you eat. However, the disadvantages are the restaurant needs two professional trained workers. It is to ensure the waiters serve perfectly. Then the service pace is slowly. This is due to the food is not completed in the kitchen. Thus, you have to wait more time for the food to be completed before it's served. Next. Okay, the French service sequence is very easy. Next. Okay, firstly, the chef will cook the food in the kitchen, put it inside recharge and pass it to runner. Then the runner will pass the food to the waiter that will do plating on gueridon. The second waiter now can serve the food to guests. Okay. Now I can conclude that both services has their own uniqueness and specialties. So it is our job as a guest to decide which one is the best service according to our own taste. That's the end of our presentation. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.